my first work permit many years ago, and I got my residence permit also many years ago. Get, got, gotten. Okay, but to get can also mean to receive. For example, last Christmas or last Reyes, did you get any presents? How many presents did you get? Okay, I've never gotten a present on Reyes, on the Epiphany, on the 6th of January. I've never gotten a present. I've only gotten presents on Christmas Day. Okay, and when did you when was the last time you went to New York by ship? Me? I've never gone to New York by ship. I've only gone by plane. And when did you last go to San Francisco by ship? I've never gone to San Francisco by ship. And when was the last time you went to Mongolia by car? I've never gone to Mongolia by car. And when was the last time you went to the North Pole? I've never gone. Go, went, gone. I've never gone to the North Pole. And I've never gone to New York by ship. I always go by plane. I always fly. I always fly to New York. It takes 7.5 hours to fly from this city to New York. But it takes 6.5 hours to come from New York to this city. It's because of the prevailing winds in the stratosphere. The winds are coming this way. So planes have help when they cross the Atlantic coming to Europe. But going from Europe to the United States or Canada takes a bit longer because they are flying against the wind. So I've never gone to New York or to North America or South America by ship. I think it takes about 4 or 5 days. I think it takes about 4 or 5 days to go from Europe to the United States by ship. I've never done it. Have you ever done it? Okay, the next one. Now, when was the last time you grew 40 centimeters, 40 centimeters in 1 year? When was the last time you grew? Fijaos en la pronunciación del pasado de crecer, grow. When was the last time you grew 40 centimeters in 1 year? Me? I've never grown 40 centimeters in 1 year. I've never grown 40 centimeters in 1 year. Have you? Have you ever grown 47 centimeters in only 1 year? I haven't. To grow. To grow is the action of getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. To grow. You can physically grow. You can intellectually grow. You can grow in your cultural level. You can grow psychologically and intellectually. To grow. To grow. And the past tense is grew. Fijaos bien en la pronunciación. Grew. And of course the participle is grown. Crecido. Has crecido mucho. You have grown a lot. But the important thing for me in this case is 2 things. The pronunciation of the past, grew, because many people in Spain, many of you say greu. No, grew. Second, many of you confuse to grow with to grow up. Okay? To grow is physically to get bigger or intellectually to get better. Okay? And to grow up is simply to pass from childhood or adolescence to adulthood, to become an adult, to grow up. It's very common for a person to ask a young boy or a little girl, what do you want to be when you grow up, Alex? And Jennifer, what do you want to be when you grow up? Normally Alex says, I want to be a football player when I grow up. I want to be a politician when I grow up. And Jennifer says, I want to be a fashion model when I grow up. I want to be a movie star when I grow up. Okay? Please don't confuse the verb to grow with the compound verb, phrasal verb to grow up. Because if you confuse them, sometimes it can be funny. All right? For example, in a meeting, a business meeting, and you are talking about your department. And for example, you are responsible for a certain department in Spain, in your country, and you go to London for a business meeting, and you want to give a presentation about the results of your department in Spain. And you say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to tell you that our department has grown up a lot, and people will smile and they will understand you. But what you're saying in essence is, nuestro departamento ya es mayorcito. Okay? No, our department has grown. Our activity has grown. The results, the sales have grown a lot in the past 12 months. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody likes good news. And I'm happy to tell you that today I'm going to give you good news. Over the past 12 months, the sales in our company have grown by more than 30%, thanks to a strong effort on the part of everybody, and thanks to a very effective advertising and promotional campaign. So it's good news for everyone, and especially for our shareholders, our employees, and our customers and suppliers. Our company is healthy, it's sound, que es sano en cuerpo y en mente, sound, no es sonido, sound en este caso. Our company is healthy, sound, solvent, and we are looking to the future with optimism and with a lot of dreams of what we can achieve in the future. And with your English too. You need to look to the future with your English with optimism and to make the effort necessary to transform your optimism into realities. Okay? And with that, I will say goodbye for the moment, and I'll be back. Don't worry. Bicho malo nunca muere, como dice aquí. I will always be here to help you with your English. So, see you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, hello and welcome back to another class. This class is for the super intelligent. This is an advanced class. Do you consider yourself a member of the super intelligent club? If that's the case, then continue and follow me, because we're going to do something extremely difficult. Yes, that only the super intelligent can assimilate. It's easy to understand, but to assimilate and reproduce with spontaneity and agility, eso es otro cantar. That's another story. That's a completely different story. That's another story. So, I used to live in Texas. I used to be an army officer. I used to be a good teacher. Ahora, si yo te digo, I used to be a good teacher, what do you understand? There's only one clear message. Un solo mensaje claro aquí. Si yo digo, if I say, I used to be a good teacher, then immediately it's clear that I am not a good teacher now. Okay? I'm not a good teacher now. If I say, I used to be an army officer, then immediately you understand that now I'm not an army officer. I used to have a lot of money. It's clear that now I don't. I used to live in Texas. It's clear that now I don't live in Texas. I don't live in Texas anymore. Ya no vivo en Texas. I used to have a lot of free time. Now it's clear that I don't have a lot of free time anymore. Used to is a past tense expression. I used to. He used to. She used to. We used to. They used to. Yes, you used to. All right? So, I used to be a stranger for you, but now I'm not. Now you know me. And it's interesting, this expression used to is only used in this way, and you never make reference to the time period. In another class, we have spoken about this, but I want to reiterate today that used to is used to express something that was true in the past and is not in the present. That's the only valid criterion here. It was true in the past, but it's not today. And it doesn't matter the time period. We never say, for example, it's incorrect to say, for example, in Spanish you could say, fui militar durante los años 70. Well, in English, I was a military man or an army officer, oficial del ejército. I was an army officer during the 70s. Fui oficial del ejército cuando viví en Oklahoma. I was, no estoy diciendo aquí I used to be. I was an army officer when I lived in Oklahoma. I was an army officer from 1968 to 1979. In all of these cases, I say was. I'm using the simple past. Ahora, I used to be an army officer in 1977. Impossible. That's incorrect. The only time we use used to is when we don't make reference to time. It's simply the fact that in the past, I was, and clearly I am not anymore. I used to be an army officer. For example, if you tell me that you're planning to visit Oklahoma next summer, or this coming summer, next month, you say, Cloverdale, by the way, next month I'm traveling to the States, to the United States. Oh yeah? Where? Where are you planning? What places are you planning to visit? Only one. Yeah, which? New York? Washington? Los Angeles? No, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I used to live in Oklahoma. Y punto. No puedo añadir en los años 80. I can't. Si quiero añadir en los años 80, preciso el pasado. Oklahoma. I lived in Oklahoma in the 80s. But that's not necessary. It's just I used to live in Oklahoma. Now, let's look today on there. There has been, there was, there were, etc. But with there used to be. Okay? For example, I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. ¿Te has enterado? I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Te voy a plantear o formular una serie de preguntas. Una serie de. Escúchalo otra vez. I'm going to ask you, say unen, ask you. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. It's interesting. Series has an S at the end, but it's singular, a series. It's a strange word. In English, una serie is a series in the singular, and it's the same in the plural. I'm going to ask you two series of questions. Dos series de preguntas. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Now, these questions will contain there. There's a pen on the book. There's a book on the table. There's a camera in this room. There's a camera, there's a producer and director in this room. There's a light in the ceiling. Okay, there's a chair in this room. There is. Es que hay. Que conste que hay. Okay. Yesterday there was a table in this room. Tomorrow there will be a table in this room. Okay. Now, in Spain, there used to be a lot of donkeys. Now there aren't many. Now it's strange. When you're driving through the country in Spain, it's not very common. Ah, look, a donkey, un burrito. It's not so common to see a donkey. But there used to be a lot of donkeys. When I came to Spain in 1972, I saw quite a few donkeys, bastantes burritos o burros. I saw quite a few. But there aren't so many anymore. Where did they go? What happened to all the donkeys? There used to be a lot. There used to be. There aren't, there weren't. There were a lot of donkeys in the 50s. There were quite a few donkeys in the 60s. There were still quite a few donkeys in the 70s. And there were a bit fewer in the 80s. And in the 90s, there weren't many. And now there are hardly any. Okay? Did you understand the evolution of the donkey population? In the 50s, there were a lot. In the 60s, there were still a lot. In the 70s, there were quite a few. In the 80s, there were a bit less, or a bit fewer donkeys. In the 90s, there weren't many. And now, there are hardly any. Apenas los hay. Okay. There used to be a lot of donkeys in Spain, but there aren't any more. Okay, so there is, there are, there was, there were, there will be. There used to be. Antes había, pero ahora no hay. Okay, let's make some comparisons between before and now, using used to and there. I'm going to ask you questions, a series of questions. And you tell me whether there used to be more or less of these things or animals or people, okay? For example, secret police, policía secreta, secret police. Well, there used to be more secret police than now. There aren't as many secret police now as there used to be, I think. Many years ago, Spain was a dictatorship. General Franco was the dictator of Spain. Some people considered it a benevolent dictatorship, a soft dictatorship, and others didn't. But nevertheless, no obstante, a pesar de todo, in spite of everything, there was, in fact, a dictatorship. And some people think, rightfully or wrongfully, correctly or incorrectly, some people think that there used to be a lot of secret police. I don't know. I'm not political. But it's possible that there used to be. It's possible. It's likely. It's probably very likely that there used to be a lot of secret police. Now, are there a lot of secret police? I don't know. I don't know. Parking problems. Well, there used to be more parking problems than today, I think. Yes, in Spain, there used to be more. There aren't as many parking problems today as there used to be. Notice how I use used to. Antes había más. I think. I remember in the 1970s, 1980s, parking was a headache. Un dolor de cabeza. Un quebradero de cabeza. Parking was a pain in the neck. Yes, algo muy pesado. Finding a parking place. And now it's not as bad as it used to be. But it's a very recent phenomenon because of the change in parking legislation. All right, in parking zones. So, there aren't as many parking problems today as there used to be. There used to be more. Okay, traffic congestion. Traffic jams on every corner. Traffic congestion. I don't know. I don't know. I have been in Spain for many years, and I think it has never changed. There used to be a lot of traffic congestion, and there is still a lot of traffic congestion now. Is there a remedy? Is there a solution? God only knows. Who knows? ¿Quién sabe? Solo Dios sabe, se dice. God only knows. But now, there are more tunnels and overpasses than there used to be. An overpass, an underpass, a tunnel. You understand? At least in American English. Claire, in British English, an overpass, an underpass, a tunnel. Okay. Nowadays, hoy en día, nowadays in Madrid, Barcelona, in every major city in Spain, principales ciudades, major, la pronunciación, no es mayor. In every major city in Spain, there are more overpasses, underpasses, bridges, and tunnels than there used to be. So apparently the traffic congestion should be, debería ser less, but it isn't. The traffic congestion is the same as it used to be. There isn't less traffic congestion than there used to be. So, why? Probably because there are more cars. There are many more cars in Spain than there used to be. Now every family has 1.5 cars or 2 cars per family. And in the 1970s, basically it was 1 car per family. And some families didn't have any cars. But it's changed. Okay? Spain has progressed economically and socially. So there are more cars than there used to be. There are more overpasses, underpasses, bridges, and tunnels than there used to be. but it's balanced out. It's equaled out. So there is as much traffic congestion today as there used to be. It's the same, in my opinion. Okay, the next one, superstition. Is there more superstition in Spain now than there used to be? No. Not many people are superstitious, really. Seriously, there aren't many. Very few people, in my opinion, in Spain are superstitious. But if you go to the Prado Museum and you look at the paintings by Goya, especially his Black period, you see a lot of superstition existed in Spain at the end of the 18th century and at the beginning of the 19th century. A lot of oscurantism, okay? So, there isn't as much superstition. Aquí digo there isn't. No, there aren't. There isn't as much superstition now in Spain as there used to be. There used to be a lot, depending on what period of history. There used to be a lot of superstition in this country. Now there isn't so much. Farm workers, people who work on the farms. What do you call that in Spanish? Obreros de las granjas, o en las explotaciones agrícolas, or do you say braceros? I don't know. Farm workers, people who work on the farm. Well, there aren't as many farm workers today as there used to be. There used to be a lot. In fact, Spain used to be a rural country, predominantly rural. Now Spain is predominantly urban. During the late 50s, middle to late 50s, throughout the 60s and part of the 70s, there was a massive migration from the country to the city. This was a phenomenon in Italy, in Greece, in Turkey, in many countries. And now it's a phenomenon in China, Vietnam, some cities in South America, some places in Africa. For example, in the Congo, Kinshasa is growing very fast. It's a migration. And in Spain, many years ago, in the early 1950s, before the beginning of the massive waves, olas masivas, waves, before the massive waves of migration started, there were a lot of farm workers, people working on the farms. A farm, you have basically two types of farms. Dairy farms, which you call granjas, con vacas lecheras, milk cows, dairy cows, and animals, livestock. Livestock, interesting word. Stock is the inventory you have. El stock de mercancías. It's physical. Livestock, literalmente es existencias o inventario vivo. Livestock, that means stock that is alive. So you have your cows, you have your pigs, you have your sheep, goats, horses, and other animals on your farm. Now, another type of farm is what you call in Spanish una explotación agrícola, for cereals or grains, corn, wheat, rye, many different types of farm products. We have vegetables and fruits. Okay. Now, there used to be a lot of farm workers in Spain. Now there aren't so many. Why? Because of the mechanization of farming. Now every farmer has a big tractor. Every farmer has, well, not every farmer, but many farmers have or rent the services of harvester combines, cosechadoras, and balers, empacadoras, for the farming. So there aren't as many farm workers now as there used to be. There used to be more. Yes. And English teachers? I don't know. Are there more English teachers now than there used to be? Probably. Why? Because the population of Spain is bigger. When I came to Spain, I think the population was 36 million. Now the population is 44 or 45 million. Second, the general educational level of the people is better. There are more people. And there are more people who want to learn English. So in my opinion, I think there are more English teachers than there used to be. There used to be quite a few. Antes había bastantes. There used to be quite a few. But now there are even more. There used to be quite a few English teachers. But now there are even more. Okay? And in the future, there will probably be even more. As good as me? I don't know. What do you think? Yeah. Do you think I'm a good teacher? Do you like this class? Or do you think there are a lot more teachers out there, ahí fuera, much better than me? That's your decision. I have no choice. I'm here, I'm paid to teach you English and to make you enjoy the language, to get you interested in the language, to get you intrigued with the language, and to get you motivated to study. Because if you don't study, apague y vámonos. We can turn off the lights and leave because it's a waste of time. My time and your time. Well, a mí me pagan. They're paying me, so it's not a waste of my time. But if you don't study, if you limit yourself to watching this class and not studying, then it's a waste of time for you. Not for me, but for you, yeah. So please don't waste your time and study, okay? And have a good day, have a good week, and I'll see you again very soon, okay? Bye-bye.